We're located here Tuesday afternoon, April 15, 2008. We're about 8 miles northwest of Ripley, Mississippi, and we're here at the Antioch Primitive Baptist Church. The church was established in 1836, and the original building's been gone since the early 1900s. Structures here now was built in 1904. We're looking at the south side, and to your left there will be the front of the church. As I said, this structure was built in 1904, and having been around out here since a child, it looked just like it did 60 years. I can remember 65 years ago. Under the structure, on the floor there, is stumps. It's probably 4 feet across, so we know the timber was cut. The original church wasn't on this property here. Here you're looking at the front entrance into the church. Most all the old churches is built back in this era. All to me look about alike. Of course, there's not many of them still standing here in Tippah County. Here we're looking at the, I guess it'd be the north side of the church. The north side of Antioch Primitive Baptist Church. And here we see the back of the church, which I guess is facing almost to due east. And we'll come around. Still got the only thing I've ever had, the outside latrine here, the outside latrine. And here we're looking across the cemetery. Here we're looking to the north here. Quite a large old country cemetery. It was said that the first buried year was during the migration days. They said that some little girl died along the way, and she was buried here. And also it said that maybe there were some Indians buried here in this cemetery, even before the white man come in here. We're going to have a professional dowser to come over here. Well, he should be here within the next hour or so. And out in the center of the cemetery is more or less just a barren, vacant spot. I remember as a child there used to be a lot of rocks in there, but they've all since gone. Most all my mother's people is buried here. And the gentleman that gave the ground for the cemetery was my great-great-great-grandfather, Worley Linville. And we assuming he's here in an unmarked grave. Area right over here that the dowser is going to attempt to see if he can find some graves. There's a few scattered in there, but if you see where the three, I guess it's some kind of juniper cedar bushes they're evergreens. It's quite a large area in there. There's no markers. Like I said, as a young child, I used to come with my parents over here to the graveyard cleaning 65 years ago, maybe I can remember. And there was a whole lot of rocks out in there at that time, but most of them I think is probably been taken up so the people that mowed the grass wouldn't be getting them hung up in their mower or their bush hog.
Y'all have got involved in locating graves for a special one particular family. Then I love history, so I got involved in documenting lost Civil War graves. Yeah. And I'm from Aberdeen, and Aberdeen, after Jackson was burned, was the biggest city in the state. We always had doctors and hospitals, and the old cemetery there, the fence around it, is only a part of that cemetery. It goes much further out, and the Civil War soldiers in there are buried pretty much shoulder to shoulder, but they're buried in individual graves with the feet pointing to the east like a Christian grave. There's 3 trenches in there, with one of them with 8 men and 2 of them with 6 men each. They must be Yankees because they just drop them in however was convenient. And you all have heard of people witching for water.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And I got involved in locating graves for a special one particular family. Then I love history, so I got involved in documenting lost Civil War graves.
Yeah.
And I'm from Aberdeen, and Aberdeen, after Jackson was burned, was the biggest city in the state. We always had doctors and hospitals, and the old cemetery there, the fence around it, is only a part of that cemetery. It goes much further out, and the Civil War soldiers in there are buried pretty much shoulder to shoulder, but they're buried in individual graves with the feet pointing to the east like a Christian grave. There's 3 trenches in there, with one of them with 8 men and 2 of them with 6 men each. They must be Yankees because they just drop them in however was convenient. And but anyway, that's been I retired some 20 years ago, and after I got involved in this, that's been my retirement vocation. And I don't charge for it. They slip me a little check while I go to pay for gas, but it's just a pleasure to put people together with the folks and everything. In the case of the Civil War soldiers, they're all skinny men. Haven't found a fat one yet. Now the slaves were buried in row and column also, but the black women were just as fat then as they are now. And with babies and children, I can tell the difference in a hurry as to which I'm working with, whether it be slave graves or military graves. And whenever I find some, if there's nobody else to document them, I write it up and I send it in to Hank Holmes in the archives. And I think now things have happened that I can get back up with the Veterans Administration to get stones. Originally, the man in charge of the office that did the gravestones, he believed in dowsing and he was willing, but his boss in Washington didn't want to. And now with Mr. Wicker going in as senator, and he is a history preservationist, we've got a chance to get some. And I've been backed up by ground scanning radar at Gettysburg. I'm going to get some reinforcement on the work in Aberdeen in June. And with that kind of backup on the ground scanning radars, we shouldn't have any problem getting the stones. The Veterans Administration will furnish stones at no cost, but you need to pretty well document your case as to what you're going for. And it's possible in the case of a large number to get a plaque that says, "Here lies so many men, known but to God," things like that. And it's possible to do that also. In Coffeyville, they've got one like that. And they had to get congressman to intercede. I think that was Abernathy that helped them out on that. But there is no black magic, no voodoo, no conjure man. It's strictly static electricity. And plumbers use it all the time. Most people can get movement, but their wires will cross if they're using 2. What you do then is you put one wire down and follow the other one very slowly. In my case, the wires will follow the grave here, like this grave right here, and then the distance they are apart is the size of the person. Now I'm at the feet right now of this person. Coming up, very slim legs, very slim. There's the hips, very slim hips. Slim waist. There's the shoulders. It would appear this is a man. There's the neck. There's the head. His hair is not fluffed out. With the slim hips and the wider shoulders, hair tight to his head, I think you'd read that it's a man on the tombstone. Is it?
They are done.
Okay. But anyway, that's how it works. And the best comedy I ever saw on that one time was a lady, she's dead now, and she wanted to use the wires to try it. And I knew there was an unmarked grave straight up ahead of her. Grass didn't show a thing. And when she walked up, she hit it, and when she got the grave, the wires went like this. She couldn't get rid of those wires fast enough. She made a believer out of it in a hurry. And people that doubt, don't believe it, it's real easy. Challenge them. Just take me to a grave of somebody they know that I don't know, and I'll describe the physique of the person. And that pretty well takes care of the doubting Thomases. So if that's enough,
I believe so. I believe in the old country. Didn't some of them go to the burn at the stake for?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I have worked with people that are extremely psychic. Those people normally don't talk about how psychic they are, because they're burning at the stake and everything, and folks will think they're ridiculous and all. But I know, well, Julie Wright is dead now, bless her heart. But when I was looking for the house of my great-great-grandparents, Judy described it to me. The house had been gone. She said it's not a one-story house, and it's not a two-story house, it's somewhere in between. And I said, how did you know that? She said, I got a momentary glimpse of it, and I was telling that story at home to a group, and one woman in the group said, I know that house. It was still there when I was in high school. I could see it from my bus stop. And yes, it had a very high roof and sleeping rooms up there. And but she could say, well, there's a grave over there, that's a child. Now over here, that's a grown man. And I could go with my wires and it'd be true. And there's another man up in Michigan that's on our shooting team, and he's the same way. When he, if he was standing here, he'd be having goosebumps all over him. And but it's like I say, probably there's 2 or 3 people in this group that with practice can do it, because about 1 out of 25 people normally you'll find is able to have the wires just come alive in their hands. And plumbers use it all the time. Locate water lines, like down there where we located that water line, I was able to tell it was a 4-inch line because my wires were following that wide above it. Yes, sir.
What's the difference in telling a child?
I'm deaf help.
How can you tell the difference in a child? What does the wires do when it's a child, when it's an adult?
It doesn't worry about metal. Anything that's man-made, it'll pick up on a brick because it's man-made. It will not pick up on a native stone because it's got the same static electricity as the ground.
Tell him about finding a child's grave.
Yes. You know what I'm trying to ask him.
How do you find a child's grave? How do you know it's a child's
How
grave?
do you know it's a child above an adult?
Child above an adult?
What I mean, how you separate a child's grave from an adult's grave?
By the size of the body.
I mean, what does your wires do?
They follow the contour of the body.
Oh, okay.
We just located 2.
Two babies down.
Okay, the
And
size.
you might want to go down there.
I couldn't hear, sir.
You might want to go down there. We just found his brother's grave. He was 2 or 3 hours old when he died.
Okay.
And what I do is with full-length coat hangers, and they do cross. but now yours follow.
Yeah, okay.
You could give a better idea.
All right,
than
well,
that.
you set up your work parties here, and,
This lady right here is your guide, and she wants to talk to you.
okay? And don't let me get away then, we'll find out.
Now, have you got? We got flags. Have you got any use for the tape?
Not really.
Okay.
Not unless you want to pin down a building or something out here.
We'll have to talk to a native.
With the flags, if you got a magic marker or something to mark on the flag a number, and then write that same number there with the whatever information we have.
Okay.
Let me see if I do. I may have one in the car.
If there's not, there's probably one in the picture.
I know one time I was calling out to a lady that was writing, and I said, "This lady is overweight. She needs to lose 30 or 40 pounds." And the woman writes, says, "I'm gonna write it down just like you said."
Okay, just follow me. And I'll show you what. I have a pen
You going with them?
Well, I don't see them coming up, so you're probably all right. If you see one, come.
Golf carts don't.
We know where.
Now the road bed needs to come up here where this sort of winds down. The old road. Now I want to know if he's got a wife.
He's got a wife. I got a brother named Joe.
You do?
The head's a little wide, like a hair fluffed out. Neck. There's the shoulders. Waist. She's very hippie. And the feet are just right here.
Okay. Jerry, where's your flags? Okay, where you marking?
This one will go in line with the tombstone, just a little, this about there yet. And the other one right here. Okay, that's definitely a female. Adult female.
Okay.
Is this number one?
Yeah, that's female.
Well, I don't have a marker, but I'll do what I can with this.
And Joe is here by himself.
One. I wrote it on there.
Okay. That we will assume is his wife.
Mr. Morgan.
head. So this would be Joe here and his wife over there.
Her name was Ann Hobson Morgan. Okay, now go on down that way and see if they come in between here and where they're standing.
But there's some rocks over about it.
There's his head, like a small child,
That's a child.
neck, shoulders, mark a flag right here. Foot. Yep. Like a 10 or 12-year-old child. Another flag right here, sir. Maybe not even 10.
Male or female? No.
He ain't got his hair native. She said, was it male or female?
Can't tell, they hadn't hit puberty yet. There's a difference.
Woo.
Those young girls are mean too. Okay, there's the head, shoulders, waist, slim waist. Definitely female. Now she would seem to be adult, but not that old. So a flag goes here and about a foot the other side of the stone.
Okay, no, Austin.
Come here, Austin.
Go over there with Brother Jerry and let him show you where to put it.
Right here. I'm using my authoritative voice.
Put your hand down at the bottom of it, push good. Well, that's all the Morgan family. That's John. North Carolina West. That could be my great granddad. John, he was over that way.
See if it's in the right place.
My great grandfather was born in 1809. John's wife, great great grandmother, apparently died when he was born.
That might not be in the right place.
Well, there's somebody there. There's a head. There's a son. There's the shoulders, decent shoulders. Waist. There's the hips again. Definitely an adult man. Most of the time when people put marker down, they got a pretty good idea.
There's one right there.
Mark that.
Right there. Look at that rock.
Head, neck, shoulders.
Put it next to the flag. You gotta help her, huh?
Hips. This is a woman here, fairly heavy. Adult.
Ask him where he wants it.
Man, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Oh, nothing over here.
No, I got this.
Lay down now, pro party. Woman did
Wave it in front of the camera.
It's a child. His shoulders, waist, hips. Child 10, 12 years old. Right here.
Go ahead, you got it, Blake. Put it right there. It's just 6.
So that's a child 10, 12, 13 years old.
What is that thing done yet?
Both went off and left that child.
Still on. What is your grandson's name? Jack. Mine daughter,
Mississippi Root.
Oh God, no wonder you're crowing so much.
There.
This one here, and this one, and that one's the one that's on there.
Okay. You want to,
Yeah.
They bring
got somebody to write for you, or you gonna remember it?
I probably don't remember it.
He's got a pen, but you got a pad there that you use or something.
Need a card or something to write on?
Don't get in front of me.
Well, I had a pen in my purse, I didn't.
Okay, this is a small child, 8 to 12 years old, something like that.
Okay, I'll let you put flags in.
I knew her, but I couldn't. I did, but I say if you
And what strolls I had on that old school bus over.
She's my sister.
yeah, we had. Thank God I ain't got one on.
All them easy, most of them idiots that some of them don't want to do it. But I guess there was some more.
This is an adult female, and she's got her hair up in a top knot. Watch, I'll show you. See, there's the head. Watch it come in. Okay, there's the bottom of the top knot.
And a ball.
I was in the cemetery down in Choctaw County. Most all the women had their hair up in the top knot.
Well, that's the way they used to wear it all the time. They don't have to worry about your hair. Mine either, because I keep it.
This is baby.
That far down, how
Could be much more than newborn right here.
I'm trying to find my baby sister was a newborn. Mother had her when she was born, and my grandpa buried her up here, but I don't know whereabouts.
Which, Mr. Morgan, which one? Is this the newborn grave here?
Yeah.
Come on down here, boy.
Austin, go over there. Go over there.
Well, she's got it written down. They got a marker for it.
You've got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
They've been right.
They've got, just hold on. They know what they're
Yeah,
doing there.
it's all right, Mr. Aaron.
That's a bunch of them over there.
All right, boss, where next?
Anybody have the ball?
Anybody else over on this side?
Rachel's had all over. No, that's all I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
who they are.
Miss Smith is taken care of. The Morgans are
Thank
taken
you.
care of.
Anybody else?
And I think if you want to make that trip all the way across the cemetery to the baby's grave they asked you about.
We gotta go back to the cars anyhow.
Might as well go then.
Here, Aaron, put one right here. Okay, that's good. You did good.
This will be number 9.
This is the child here.
Does a metal casket throw you off? Does a metal casket?
This works on any material that's handmade. Looks like that's a single child. Let me look on both sides of it again. No.
Down here next to the pipe.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see what I can come up with.
Okay, so you're about 9 inches.
And the reason I turn it
Down about
yeah.
inch and a half, 2 inches.
And the reason
Maybe
I
so
turn
we
it
got a
down
number
is
10 in here anywhere?
And then,
Okay.
I can still do it, but not as strong.
I hate to take your
Because
helper.
overhead wires is together.
It's 3 o'clock.
But does it pick up the body better turned down or just?
No, it works either way. Some people make them too long.
Well, mine are 3 feet long, all they do is cross.
But that's what happens to most people. So put one down then and follow the other one very slow. And if you can, when they cross, shake them down and spread them out and see if they'll stay out for you.
Okay.
Well, bronze brazen rods, I believe they're made out of bronze, was that act
Yeah.
just like the...
I use coat hangers because they're always handy.
When you wear out a pair, you just go ahead and
Yeah,
get you some.
and I use white ones because the regular color one will lay them down in the grass and they'll crawl off and hide.
All right.
Well, now that I do have, I have
Have to
white.
head out, but it was nice meeting you, and I've enjoyed this.
Good to meet you. You take care of yourself.
All right.
Watch old Arthur.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right place.
Willard, you might want to tell the story about that ending now.
Yep.
That's old Joe.
Yep.
He's there. Let's see who's here.
Singing, can't you?
This way?
Yeah.
Got it wrong, man, didn't
And the Chickasaw women owned the land.
Oh, hey.
And when the whites were first coming in, white women were real scarce. So the white men liked to marry the Chickasaw Indian women because they had the land.
Oh, yeah.
And they were available. And it was the Chickasaws that got the first law passed protecting women's rights.
But he is buried there.
There's somebody buried right there.
Right here.
Yeah. On this side.
Willard, you want to tell us a story about, that goes back to your family, that ending there, right? You want to tell us a story? He was living with some of your ancestors?
With my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather had a tanning business, and this Indian was working for him, and he could find dry wood to go to for heating the water for the hides. And when all the others were moved out of the country, he left and died here.
My great-grandfather Green was an Indian agent, and my grandmother Green, who became a Morgan, she could speak a little Chickasaw and everything.
Did he have long hair? So if he had long hair,
Ma'am?
would he have had long hair? Would it have shown up if he had the Indian type hair?
All right,
Let me try.
Interesting. Got a coin there.
Hello?
That's
Hey.
feet.
I'm walking stomping
He's got
around
his
here
head
in
to
the
these.
cemetery.
There's his hips, his waist,
Looking, this man's over here finding unmarked
shoulders.
man from Aberdeen.
His neck is kind of wide, like hair's coming
Yeah,
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had long hair, come all the way to, like in your case, I would not show any neck. I'd show
oldest brother,
your hair hangs down to your shoulders, so I'd show you that wide all the way up.
But he looked like a slim man.
Ma'am,
He looked slim
used to be a
otherwise.
stump
Yeah,
there and
uh-huh.
had some rock.
this is man.
This grave mark.
Well, he's laying wrong, right? In other words, when he wakes up, he's gonna be facing the west.
Okay, we're going to still going to.
So that's why somebody else claimed it when your mom, because they were so close.
Yeah,
They were so side to side.
that's here. And my wire's crossed right here. Crossed
Well,
there
when
and
this
there.
was
One
here,
was
there
this
wasn't
way. Where you cross? They crossed there. and
Okay, well
right right
you're getting up to the edge of the tree.
here. Okay.
See, there's the edge of it right there. Outside grave. Grave always gets bigger than the baby. Because the digger in there had to have room to work.
Yeah.
See how wide it is.
Two babies.
Let's see, we don't have any. But anyway, you got the marker there.
Yeah.
And
They
the
know
marker
that they-
pretty much centered on them. Yeah.
Oh, is that the center of? This would be they that close together.
Yeah, they're just like this.
Yeah.
And the ID there is centered right on them.
Long between the one there and the other guy. I don't know.
Oh, Lord, did somebody left the weird their baby on?
Let's see, there was one woman wanted me to talk to her husband.
Yeah. Right there.
They tell us it's a grave down there in a corner below my sister. You got time to see about that?
Yeah.
Oh, the last grave down there in the corner.
Show me what
Below those
Do you have any idea who it might be?
They say a Smith. She don't step on them. They
Fall
say
over
it was
something.
they say it was a Smith.
Now let's see, who are you?
Barkley. I was a Crum. This is her sisters and brothers. Toxic. Gene Holmes was her brother-in-law. Toxic and Clarence Holmes.
Yeah, okay, some of them buried out at Jacob Chapel too, aren't they?
Yeah, that's.
Okay, that's where my daddy's folks would be.
Well, that's where my husband's buried.
Oh, yeah.
There's one grave right here.
Oh, that's my uncle and my aunt, but they think one is in here.
So there's two graves here.
Yes, sir. They always said it was a grave in there.
That's going back to him. All right. Yeah. Head, neck, shoulders. Child. 10 years old, something like that.
Oh, it said a small child or a baby or something, we always thought.
I would say maybe 10 years old.
We don't have a flag, but just in the
Yeah,
area.
right,
Now, is that supposed to be related to y'all? This,
No,
okay.
Miss Rita Paul. The bigger sister.
Did I hear you say what Smith?
She said a Smith, that's all I know.
Where was it at?
Right out there.
So that's,
And they said a 10 or 12-year-old child. Mother thought it was, I mean, we had heard it's a baby.
the family left the baby and then moved on.
Got a flag.
I'm gonna go.
I was gonna get a flower and put it on.
I changed the career on a young man. He was doing computers for a living, and now he's making movies. And he came back and made a movie on me a couple of weeks ago. And he'll use that in his thesis for his master's in movie production.
All right, all
He's
right.
from down in Newton County, but he's going to school in Montana.
All right, all right.
I hope I didn't ruin your film.
No. I'm not no professional, no.
I have to give it to somebody.
This is a page point for the City of Ripley. Use all these you want. Don't put that down on this thing.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. I'm glad I could help.
Please thank you.
What are you going to do? You're going to come to a historical society meeting and bring this, right?
When do they have those meetings?
Third Tuesday of the month.
You
just
got
like
it.
this one.
You got a DVD player. It needs to be on tape.
Yes.
Tape or DVD?
The library has one, I think. At noon at the museum in Ripley.
Oh, okay.
And it's very likely that
Well, he's hard to hear too.
I'm Kerry Clark.
Henry Morgan, Terry. Good to meet you.
How long you been doing that?
Oh, I learned 40 years ago from a zoning inspector up in Virginia. And I started doing this about 20 years ago when a family that owned 2 sections of land across the road from me.
Right.
And then they moved to Texas in 1859. And they had a good family Bible. And one of them come back looking for that cemetery. And
How much Indian you got in you?
Indian? None.
None.
I'm Scotch-Irish. And one line, the Bryan line, is documented all the way back to 337. Because when the Dark Ages were in Europe, the Irish, they kept their literacy. And, but anyhow, I use the wires instead of these peach-tree lamps. And most people can get movement, put the wires across if they got to. And so if they cross on you, and put one down and just follow the other real slow. But in my case, I can shake them out and work the outside of the person.
Right.
And so that way I can profile the body in the grave. And
But I feel these.
sure, just a regular old coat hanger.
How many inches down and across and down? Does it matter?
Just enough so it swings in my hand. And if you can't get a good swing in your hand, use one of those little bases like the forest, put stick flowers in, put it in there. Just become alive in your hand, didn't it?
He can do the water and.
Did you see him swinging in his hand?
Yeah, I'm pretty close then.
Now, when I'm over water, they're just going back and forth.
I guarantee you I can do this.
Now, the way I tell how deep something is, I walk away from it with my wires pointing away, and at the point where they swing back, that distance from where I started to where it swing back is how deep.
My goodness. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
How deep?
Yeah. Well, I thank you.
He saw that in the paper and he just
I taught history for
30
all my life.
Did you?
Where'd you teach at, Mr. Clark?
Buena Vista
Oh, me, that's where I went to the University of Buena Vista.
Center.
Center, too.
You know Jack Elliott?
Ja-
Jack Elliott?
Yeah.
He hates dowsing. He knows when I say a grave is there, it's there because I proved it to him. But he never calls me to help him.
What's your name?
I'm Milton Welch, W-E-L-C-H. Now, I'm 70 years
Paul
old.
David Welch.
He was my first cousin. He's a little younger than me. I'm
Oh, yeah,
5,
yeah,
6 years
yeah,
younger.
yeah.
He died
What's
in,
Carl David doing now?
he's passed away in 01. He died in 01.
and it's just
I'll be
plastic.
dog.
That whole family's dead, Joe Milton and Maskell and all of them.
He said this morning he didn't know where he's going to be able to come or not, but he said, I'm going to try it. He was really, really interested in it.
Mr. Clark, I told you better have. I'm gonna get y'all a death to this, so you'll see what I got out in the cemetery.
Okay.
Don't do that. We
I don't charge people for it, but like I told
Margie.
What, he's talking, Kerry. He'll interrupt because he can't
I
hear.
say, I don't charge people for it, but for a distance, I'll let them help me with the gasoline money.
As high as it is, you need that.
That's getting to be a big thing now.
Gasoline's getting serious.
Oh, what you talking about? I go to $5.
I wound up having to take a fellow to Memphis this morning, missed a Tupelo plane, then went back to Aberdeen and then drove up here. So
Oh my
I
goodness.
put 400 miles in before I got here.
Oh goodness. You were tired before you got here, weren't you?
Well, I was just relaxed driving, but I was cutting it short. I got there when they started eating. But you taught history though.
Yes, sir.
When I was in school,
Coach basketball.
and basketball, when I'd get a new history book, I had it read within the first week. And I had a history book, Mississippi history, given to me last year, and it was written before political correctness come in.
Right.
and that was very educational. It was written for the 6th or 7th grade level. Back in the, I think, 50s it was written.
A greenback book.
It had the state flag on it.
All right.
Do you know that book?
I've taught it.
Uh-huh. And one thing I learned in there that I didn't know is the Choctaw Indians, some of them were buried sitting up.
That's right.
And I was
Under the house.
yeah. And I was doing a graveyard down in Choctaw County. Something kept calling me into the woods just out there. Sure enough, old chief was sitting there, sitting up in the grave.
On my girl's place, it's some Choctaw Indian. You know, they don't bury in mounds. I'd like to see it. I'd like to try that on that.
Now the summertime mounds, there were strictly dwellings up on the mound itself, down in the creek bottoms, and they'd go down and cut cane to make their baskets to put the crop in. But their buildings, they had better zoning than we do. I could line out the buildings, and normally those mounds, creek bottom mounds, were running from northwest to southeast. Old chief, his is going to be long ways on the northwest end, and then there'd be a row of mounds, buildings 12, 15 feet square down each side, and then smaller ones lined down back that, and then there would be poles in the middle, and I imagine they had arbor and cooking fires and everything out
Yes.
there.
So went from the northwest, the chief in the northwest to the south.
Uh-huh. And now, a wintertime mound in Monroe County, I went up there with a full-blooded Chickasaw woman, pathologist, and she had been in charge of exhumations from up in Tupelo and down Tupelo here. But anyway, first time I was there with the owner, the spirits were strong. So I took back up and I showed her first, working up the line beside the hill, a row of huts about 10 by 10. Got up to the top, and the spirits were so strong, I asked her if she sensed them. She said, yes, it's bad. And I said, to me, it is very depressing. And she says, to me, it makes me want to vomit, it's so strong. So then we did the house. It was a big building cut up in 3 sections. And then I took it down to where the graves were with the feet all facing toward the house. She wanted to record my descriptions on each person. Every time she'd hit that recorder, they'd turn it right back off again. She didn't get a single recording. And when I told the owner of the land about that, he said several years before, when his grandsons were 6 or 7 years old, they were down there playing Indian one day, and they had a fire going on a little drum. He was with them, and the little boy started tum-tumming on the drum, and when they did, a cedar tree overhead started burning. He quit tum-tumming, the cedar tree went out. He started tum-tumming again. Cedar tree started burning. He quit tum-tumming, and they didn't tum-tum anymore.
That the woods on fire.
That was enough.
Well, good to meet you, sir.
Same here.
And you take care of yourself.
Enjoyed it.
Appreciate you coming.
Is that Delco Owens?
Delco Owens is dead, I think.
Who, me?
Yes, spirit.
Now Delco been dead
Is
for
Delco
years.
dead?
Delco killed, yeah. Mr.
she
Morgan,
Owens?
listen, we've enjoyed it. And I'll stay and
You're
come.
Mr. Morgan also.
No, I'm Milton Welch.
Okay, well, all right.
Yeah, I've always been emailing. I'm
Yeah, oh,
hunting.
that's right, yeah.
I'm looking for them.
I got phone books out and everything. I found one with a double initial starting with L, but nobody knew anything about them.
I'm gonna look on the Social Security Death Index. He may be going on.
I don't think he stayed in Navy long. He didn't leave any traces.
Some of them, you know.
Yeah,
Email address.
ma'am.
What is your email
When
address?
did Miss Delco die?
At
Her and her hubby died close together.
which is at Ripley Station.
I could look on the internet and see, but I don't know. You know,
That's all right.
back out and put them out, you know.
E-M-O-R-Y-A.
What years have you been arrested?
Margie, what year?
Mine's my buddy.
I've got a little all
Hughes
time.
got me.
But when you email
7,
me,
8,
it'll be on there and I can get it.
Okay, I had already left there then.
Sam
Elijah.
Where's the graveyard?
It was Elijah. He was there when they consolidated the last 3 years. They went to Center and they consolidated. He was there 2 years and they consolidated and then went to Faulkner for 25
My
years.
wife went to Tulip Permanent her whole 12 years at Permanent.
Area.
And after she left and graduated in 57, I think it stayed over maybe another 2 years.
I've got to get on back today.
They're
Are
gonna
you from
come
University also?
No,
the house
I
and get
lived
me
at
to go down and
Ripley
show 'em
and
where
my
the,
daddy was Olin Hurd.
the
Austin
road
Hurd
went
at
through
Ripley.
where
Do you
the
know Austin
veterans is
Hurd?
buried at.
Osborne? Yeah.
But
It's
they
my
took
uncle.
them
Oh,
up
it's your
and put
uncle,
'em
okay.
over
Yeah,
there.
My
he
daddy's
helped
older
build our
brother.
house back in
Showed me
57.
where
Him
they
and
put
Frank Alsop and
My husband may know right about where they was buried at in the road.
Mr. Alsop. This lady, she was a Hopkins. No, she was.
I know him from somewhere. I know where his first money
Railroad
was.
man,
But it would be Frank man.
Is she a
Because
Smith?
Instead of Hopkins.
Well, I'm not
He's
sure,
Harding.
but ask her.
Send me your
Hopkins.
email and,
I'll call you and get it.
okay.
Was you raised in the University community?
I was raised in Brownfield.
Okay.
What's your name?
I like Daddy lost it. Dogs eat it. Daddy lost it. Dogs eat it.
I've seen you. I know
I'm
you.
Face Smith. Used to be a hot.
Do you ever first Monday? Do you ever go first Monday or
I
Saturday?
first been down there, but I don't.
Where we know you from? We know you from somewhere.
Doctor's office. Doctor's office.
This is Kerry Clark and I'm Margie Clark, and we live in Brownfield.
Well, it's nice
Nice.
talking to y'all, and
We enjoyed
I'll get you a death for this in a few days.
They gonna come to the house and get me to show them where the veterans